described as a butcher knife. There was a brief confrontation, and in that confrontation, the officer discharged his weapon, struck the individual, and that individual is deceased here at the scene. The officer was not injured, and he is at headquarters. He has been interviewed and is being processed as part of the investigation. The investigation is very preliminary at this time. We were talking to multiple witnesses who were here at the scene. As we gather additional information, we'll release that information. As far as the identity of the subject, he has not yet been identified. We have not been able to make identification to the next of kin. Once that's completed, and we've worked with the coroner's office, we'll release his identity and information. I don't expect that will occur probably until Monday. And at that time, we'll release the officer's information as well. Sometime on Monday, I'd expect within 48 hours of our response here this afternoon.
Can you discuss a little further about what the original call was on the scene here? You said they were responding to a shooting?
Yes. So it was a single officer response. I was the only officer available at the time. He arrived here on scene to investigate, and that's when the confrontation took place.
And it all happened outdoors, correct?
Yes, it all happened in the parking lot.
Do you have a second victim here? Was someone else shot, stabbed?
No. No. So that initial call and information, we're still investigating the circumstances of that, but there was no one here that was shot prior to the officer arriving. So,
did they give a description of the subject?
I'm not sure.
We heard that it was a girlfriend involved. Where is she at right now? What's her status?
I don't have that information. I'm not aware of that.
You're testing body cams, is that right? Was the officer wearing a body camera at the time?
Yeah, so this particular officer was not wearing a camera at the time. His cruiser is equipped with a camera. And I know the investigators are looking at that information. I'm not sure what, if any, video there is. But he would also have a microphone on, and so they're going to retrieve that information.
Whenever he first arrived, was there any other officer here with him by the time he had to fire his weapon, or was he alone?
He was alone, and so this took place in just a matter of moments from the time he arrived on scene until the shooting took place. So,
how long's the officer been on the force here? Are you able to tell us that?
I'm not this evening.
So did he get into an altercation with the officer?
Again, it was a brief confrontation. I don't know the particulars of it, but that's exactly what our investigators are here tonight to determine. They're going to take all the necessary time that they need to get that information, both in the physical evidence that's here and in the witnesses who observed what happened. What I can assure you is that there will be a full, thorough, and transparent investigation.
Who's doing the investigation, Chief?
The Hamilton Police Department.
Okay, thank you.
And once that investigation is complete, the results of that investigation will be turned over to the Butler County Prosecutor's Office. We've been in touch with Mr. Moser, and he will, as a matter of practice, present that investigation, the results of that investigation, to the Butler County Grand Jury, and we'll wait to see what, if any, action they decide to take.
2 shots fired, Chief?
I didn't say, and
okay.
And I don't have that information right now.
Do you think it was multiple?
I don't know.
We're just not sure.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the weapon that was recovered from the suspect?
What I've described so far is all the information I have. It's a fixed blade, large fixed blade knife, described to me as a butcher knife.
The individual who confronted the officer, heard from some witnesses that he came out wearing something over his face. Are you able to give us any details of his appearance at the time?
I can't. No, I'm not familiar one way or the other.
Do we know why he had the butcher knife?
I do not.
This has got to be a difficult day for your department. I know that any type of, time an officer has to fire their weapon, it's taken very seriously. Could you just speak to that, maybe?
I can tell you that all life is sacred, and so the loss of it under any circumstances, and circumstances such as this, is tragic. and it's unfortunate. There's a family somewhere tonight whose loved one, isn't coming home, and so that's a matter that we take, very seriously, and that's why it's important that there's a full and thorough, transparent investigation. It's also a very difficult time for our officers, the officer that's involved, his family, the entire department, and our community. So it's important that we know everything there is to know about what happened here tonight, this afternoon, and that we get that to the community and to you all as soon as possible. And again, that's my assurance to everyone that we're going to do just that. So,
Are you able to tell us whether or not this is generally a quiet area for you guys, or?
it is. I think you can see that in the neighborhood that's around here. It's not an area that we have a lot of problems. It's a quiet, apartment neighborhood and community. So, thank you. We will have more information again as far as the identity of the individual involved, the subject, and the identity of the officer. I would anticipate that will be released on Monday. Next week, there will be a follow-up press conference just to update everyone on the status of the investigation, where that's at, if and when it's complete, and when those findings are turned over to the prosecutor's office. Thank you.
Is that cruiser cam going to be available on Monday as well, possibly?
I don't know. Yeah. We'll get you that as soon as we can. Thank you all.
Chief.
Thank you.